Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive. The animatronics of the Fazbear Entertainment Mega Pizzaplex were quite advanced. They had personality-based random event generators and an algorithm that made them be able to form something akin to genuine friendship. Not just pre-programmed responses to customer behavior. Because of that, the machines between each other were quite close. Their friendships only influenced by their base limitation settings. For example, Freddy and Chica's friendship would never go below friends and never above besties. These limiters were important, as it would be a marketing nightmare to have to deal with the glamrock band breaking up because of a dispute. The owner of the Pizzaplex called this controlled freedom. However, there was one problem with these settings, and that was the simple fact that due to the random nature of these, the animatronics could and would have these friendship moments during the night, when there weren't customers around to witness them. Sure, it could be something as simple as Freddy vs. Monty golfing, but it could be a once-in-a-lifetime event too, like Chica complaining about fried chicken to Freddy, who then comforts her with Fazbear-friendly responses, designed to make the competition look bad. The marketing team was incredibly upset that that scenario actually happened. This was one of the many reasons the animatronics were supposed to be in their green rooms of dedicated areas during the nighttime, as the machines couldn't generate events when they weren't close to each other. Though tonight there was a problem. The night guard was lazily sitting in one of the offices when all lights in the Pizzaplex suddenly turned off, and the loud clank of metal indicated that all security doors had opened. Meaning, the Plex was out of energy. A complete and utter blackout. So the man simply sighed, grabbed his flashlight and his phone, before making his way to the entrance to call the engineers to fix it. Meanwhile, however, the machines were free to roam. The blackout had frightened you, as you were up in the rafters, gliding your nimble body across the pipes and iron bars, like an octopus attempting to climb out of its tank. Obviously, this was a feat impossible to humans. But thankfully you weren't one. You were the newly introduced security puppet. For reasons unknown to most adults, the security puppet line of animatronics was always super popular with children and teens alike. Their uncanny, almost goth appearance being super attractive to the more edgy crowd. And their somewhat clownish facial features, with the funny little belts, was just entertaining enough for toddlers to enjoy. You had been constructed to be additional help for security guards, a sort of mobile camera system that positively interacted with children. Your body was made up of heavily segmented parts, allowing you snake-like movements for your arms and legs. There were even additional seams in your chest, which was vaguely feminine shaped. Your endoskeleton was entirely covered by thin black polyester cloth that was sleek and somewhat shiny. And water repellent. So technically you could be fully submerged in water and not break. It even covered your hands and fingers. However, to make you look more like a puppet, a sort of shell glove had been sewn in on your hands. Your head and face had been specifically designed to give you a fully movable mouth. It allowed for more expressions. It itself looked like an older puppet design, with only very faded pink for your cheeks, and a black dot slightly above your upper lip to make it look like you had a little mole. The rest of your face was completely porcelain white, like your hands. And on your head you had a sleeping cap attached to you with magnets, so it could be removed. A bell hung from the cap's tip, as well as the buttons on your chest being belts too. A rather strange aspect of you was the fact that you didn't have a voice box. Instead, you interfaced with customer fares watches and communicated through the instant messaging app on it. Additionally, you are also connected to all security cameras of the Pizzaplex, making you quickly search for missing children. Thematically, you had been introduced as the girlfriend of the daycare attendant. Both versions of him had been set to quite a high friendship value with you. Why yes, this was mostly for customers. Its direct usage was mostly so that you had a dedicated space you could turn to during scheduled blackouts when energy was rerouted to supercharge the animatronic charging stations. But this one was different. This blackout, it wasn't schedule. It was unique, something you hated. Slowly you slipped down the pipe to the floor. It was weird not being able to see everything. You were focused. Like a ghost, you slipped through the darkness, the light of your eyes glowing a bright red, allowing you to see just a bit into the darkness. Safety Procedure Protocol 24 suggested the immediate securing of customers, but that was unwarranted. It was night. Protocol 36 suggested the search for the night guard. However, you have been given the unique command by the night guard to, quote, "leave me the fuck alone," end quote. This only left the animatronics to be sought out. Your emotions requested the immediate search for Moon, the daycare attendant's personality whenever it got dark. You began moving quickly through the Pizzaplex. However, as you were at work, the other animatronics decided that this is finally the time they initiated an old plan of theirs. A promise Freddy made to Bonnie. And an idea Chica loved. And something Monty refused to be kept out of. A glamrock slumber party. However, as Chica and Monty sat down on Freddy's bed, both Freddy and Roxy had an almost similar idea. "Where's the puppet?" asked Roxy, earning her confused looks.
Yes, actually, I myself was about to ask about the daycare attendant,"
said Freddy chipper.
"This is a chance that will never come back, and you want to bother with these other over-celebrated staff bots,"
complained Monty.
"They're part of the Pizzaplex just as much as us. They're intelligent. After all, I watched the puppet collect many children who had been gotten lost, even before the guards noticed. And the daycare attendant, I think he deserves to be one of us. He has been here almost as long as we have."
Sadly, the glamrock animatronics didn't find you or Moon in time, not realizing all they had to do was go into the daycare. As to them, it only made sense both of you would seek out the night guard. Monty was checking the maintenance tunnels. Roxy checked, of course, Roxy Raceway. Freddy, although he protested, was refused entry to the Western Arcade and was then sent to Gator Golf. Chica was going to Feather Blast. But as the lights turned on, Freddy got an idea. As soon as his internet connection was re-established, he chatted up the animatronic group chat, specifically targeting you. "Security puppet, please tell me your location," he typed. Damn it, Freddy, I was about to do that, Monty replied. It was in all caps. Freddy chuckled. Current location, Fazbear Daycare, was what you said in response. Freddy sighed, of course, and all the glamrocks felt incredibly stupid right now. Monty was the first to arrive at the daycare.
Howdy, alligator!
Shouted Sun, as the lizard animatronic entered the daycare. Thankfully, the others soon followed. You were sitting with Sun at the finger paint station. Sun had asked you to assist him sorting the paints.
You are coming with us before the guard realizes we are out of our rooms,
shouted the machine. Sun's head turned upside down.
But your finger paints,
he complained. Silence. During which the Gator animatronic slowly looked towards you, and a diabolical scheme came to the glamrock.
Freddy, old pal, how about you Roxy and Chica go to your green room? I'll be joining you in a bit. I would like to try convince these two. Oh, that's great, Montgomery!
Meanwhile, Roxy and Chica just looked at each other, a look that said more than 1,000 words, as they understood, and Freddy didn't. So girls just grinned and pushed the bear animatronic out of the daycare. Growling to himself, Monty walked over to the daycare wall, leaning against it with his arms crossed, as you and Sun continued sorting the finger paint.
You know, security puppet, I think maybe we should not sort them by size of bottle. Let's sort them like a rainbow.
Excited, you clapped your hands immediately, changing the order with him. Monty sighed, annoyed. He then looked at his claws, slowly moving his fingers as he counted the seconds.
Oh, looks like we need more blue,
said Sun, and you nodded affirmingly. Meanwhile, Monty got closer, placing his giant green hand on Sun's shoulder. You looked up at the Gator, while the daycare attendant shuddered.
Well, that should be enough time,
he growled, before quickly picking up the attendant by his throat and throwing him on his shoulder before running off, kicking over Sun's stool in the process. A surge of emotions fluttered through you, but knowing how much your boyfriend hated leaving a mess behind, you gently placed the stool upright again, before chasing after Monty at an alarming speed, using the vents of the Pizzaplex as shortcuts. The clanking of your body echoed throughout the Pizzaplex, even reaching the night guard down in the maintenance tunnels. Him and the on-duty engineer Kevin had just fixed the generators. They were sharing a drink together. "What's that?" asked the night guard. But Kevin just chuckled. Probably just one of those Lost Music Man toys. Give me the bottle already. Monty stopped out of breath in front of Freddy's green room, and after throwing the small animatronic into the room, he turned around, as you just slid out of the vent in front of him, your eyes glowing a dangerous red, and your theater mask face turned into a dramatic frown. The entire time you were chasing him, you had spammed him with messages of protest, though they were nothing but a letter salad, just to distract him. Hearing his own notification beep every 2 seconds made the Gator incredibly mad. With his claw, he made a challenging pose towards you. Lunging forward, however, he used your own momentum to throw you into Freddy's green room. You were caught by Roxy, but before you could retaliate, Monty locked Freddy's door, raving at you mockingly as you slammed your body against it.
Well, I guess Monty isn't participating in a slumber party.
Protectively, you slid over to Sun, who was sitting on the floor, standing behind him, wrapping your arms around his shoulders. Sighing, Freddy explained that this was supposed to be a little fun event, and that he didn't expect any hostilities. But a quick peek outside revealed the Gator laughing, making an obscene gesture with his hand, before slapping his knee and skipping into his own room. You shook the bell on your sleeping cap like a rattlesnake, until Monty left your cone of vision. To break the tension, Roxy clapped her hands, getting everyone's attention. Knowing full well you would not calm down for at least a while, the wolf animatronic suggested a simple slumber party game of truth or dare.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yes, but before we start, Freddy, can you and Chica lend me your ears real quick?
Said Roxy, her eyes focusing on your creepy face. As the glamrocks were whispering between each other, Chica occasionally said a loud "Bok!" You rubbed your face against Sans, who giggled excitedly.
Okay,
Shouted Freddy, excited. Roxy's plan was simple. With the tension Monty had created, a normal slumber party was impossible. So she suggested a simple game of spin the bottle truth or dare, with jokers. And should the thing point at you or Sun, the glamrock in charge would use their joker to force a very specific dare, just so you and Sun could cool off a little, privately. Though considering the fact Sun was already giggling like an overfed toddler, he was already like a mouse in a cage made of cheese. After explaining the rules, Chica regurgitated the empty fizzy-fast bottle she had eaten behind Freddy's back, as they had gathered here earlier during the blackout. Slamming it on the ground, she spun first. Funny enough, it took the glamrocks about 20 minutes until finally the bottle pointed at Sun. And Chica gulped. It was her turn again, holding her joker between her fingers. Roxy raised an eyebrow skeptically. Would the competitive chicken use it as disgust or not? But eventually she just sighed.
I'm playing my joker.
She sounded defeated. Once again you rattled your bell threateningly, but when you heard what Chica said next, your mood was immediately shifted.
I'd like you and Sun to play 7 minutes in heaven, what?
With how chipper Sun was, especially around you, this question was a no-brainer. And encouragingly, Roxy now stood up, shoving you and Sun out of the room into the bear's storage room. She sighed, while Freddy gently rubbed over the chicken's back.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing. But I'm at a disadvantage. What?
After all, she was the only one who used the joker as of yet. Meanwhile, you were somewhere in the back of the storage room, after the door was closed behind the two of you. Meanwhile, Sun was bobbing back and forth on his heels.
You know we're only here for 7 minutes, right?
He snickered. You peeked your head out from around the corner, and Sun stretched his arms out happily, only for you to pull back immediately. Raising his right leg, he turned around, stomping loudly on the ground. And after a few seconds, you peeked again, only to realize he was staring at the door.
Ah, well, guess I wait those 7 minutes out.
You narrowed your eyes, dawning closer on all fours. And once you were behind him, you made yourself taller by stretching out your limbs as far and wide as they could. That's when Sun twisted his upper body 180 degrees, like an owl, embracing you around your hips. Shocked, you stood there.
Oh, by Afton, you're so comfy.
He complimented you. And you went limp, too touched by his words.
Oh, did I wake you?
He chuckled as he rubbed his face against your chest. It tickled. Your lips mimicked laughter as you leaned up. Looking at him, you gently petted his head spikes, making him squeak. Oh, he was always so sensitive with them. It was fun pushing them in and hearing his reactions. And the longer you did this, the less They resisted. Sun moaned. Looking up at you, he whispered,
I love you, security puppet.
Gently you smiled, wrapping your arms around his hip 3 times just to make the grip extra tight. It felt great. Sun loved the feeling of you being around him like a bow on a present, but what he loved even more were the things you did when no one else was around. Things not approved by Fazbear Entertainment. All due to a lack of care when it came to the both of your programming. And without him needing to say anything, your hands took hold of the orange belt holding his pants up.
That's right, puppet. Let's interface.
You sent him a chuckle emoji before typing out, I think you know just as well as I do that they won't interrupt us even after those 7 minutes, right? Sun looked at you.
Oh, I do hope so,
he whispered, almost sounding seductive.